I've been with Ramey for 7 years. I started in 2008, in March of 2008. And prior to that, I worked several internships. I grew up in San Diego, and I was drawn to the Santa Barbara area due to the proximity of San Diego to Santa Barbara. But after working a few internships, and one of my internships was here in the Russian River Valley at Williams-Sonoma, and I completely fell in love with this area. So kind of had to regroup and form another plan because I knew I had to be here. And so the time came when I was looking for a permanent position, and I was looking in Napa, but really the Russian River Valley is where I wanted to be. And the job opening here at Ramey popped up, and I was so excited. And it was one of those experiences where I didn't want to get too excited because I didn't want to be disappointed if I didn't land at the job. But luckily I did, and I've been here ever since. Once you find a place where you fit, it would be hard to ever walk away. I was studying chemistry and not really sure where I was going to go with it. I loved science. I loved chemistry, but I didn't see myself working in a laboratory, and I didn't see myself going into pharmaceutical sales, and so I was a little disenchanted. I didn't know where my chemistry degree would take me, and I went to visit my aunt who was living in Madrid, and I just sort of had this kind of lightning bolt, as David described it, where I thought, wow, I could focus on wine and sort of parlay my chemistry experience into making this delicious product that makes people happy and is part of a wonderful meal. So I came back and enrolled in botany and microbiology and all of these classes that I would need to transfer. I went and visited Fresno and UC Davis and decided that Davis was where I wanted to transfer, and I made it happen. Transferred and then got my degree and started doing internships. In much of the same way that Claire grew up drinking wine, I did as well. My parents aren't in the wine industry, but in fact, they're in the medical industry. but my father grew up as an expatriate. My grandfather worked for BASF, a big German chemical company, and was transferred to many different countries. So my dad grew up mostly in Europe, in Spain and Germany and Belgium. And so drinking wine was part of every meal, and I always had a glass of wine, just a little tiny bit from the time I can remember, and then as I got older, a little more. And so it was just part of a meal. It wasn't something that I paid a lot of attention to, but it was part of good living, having a glass of wine and good food, and here I am.
You left your life.
Yeah.